as well. But I know that a lot of conspiracy theorists were kind of saying, "Oh, this is flying in the face of Google, and it's really going to hit their ad revenue and things like that." And I'm thinking, well, um, don't forget Google has a whole platform
Yeah.
called Android, which sells a lot of devices. So
Yep.
I don't think they're going away anytime soon. So, and they're certainly not going to implement ad blockers on their end. So I don't know what problems that's going to show
Yeah,
up on their platform.
I mean, after looking at a lot of adverts over the past few months while testing this, Google is some of the best in terms of performance and stuff. Like they got like very lightweight ads compared to a lot of other, and not obtrusive, not in your face, not obnoxious, like redirecting you to to different app stores and stuff. So Google are some of the best ads out there at the moment.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you get into it. People want to say advertisers, but really there's the advertiser who is a company or even an individual who wants to get in front of eyeballs, get in front of consumers, and then there's the ad network, and then there's the content creator who creates something and then puts ads on their site so they can help support their endeavors, and then there's the consumer, and it just seems like the advertisers are willing to do whatever it takes to get the eyeballs. The ad networks are trying to facilitate the process, and then content creators and consumers, they're just trying to do what they do, right? So it's hard to know where do you think the breakdown is when it comes to ads. I mean,
I would say a lot of the worst offending websites, it will be the publishers themselves, the content creators themselves, just purely because I don't know if they need all these adverts for their business, but they just overload their website with so many different ad networks and so many different trackers to the point where it deteriorates. Like I said earlier, I mean, it takes 4 times more time to load it with ads. It's 4 times faster to load it without ads. That's very detrimental to the user experience and uses up more than 50% of the data of the bandwidth, which is quite precious. If you've got slow network or if you're roaming abroad and you're on a limited plan or whatever.
You raise an interesting point, and this is really this conversation at this point is all in the web space, right? We're not really talking about ads in apps. Yeah, we're talking about ads on the general open web, but the same thing holds true. I mean, I know we've all seen apps that you open them up and then you've got like a banner ad at the bottom, and you have an interstitial ad, and then you have the app pops open an ad the very first time it loads, and same thing holds true. It's just trying to like overzealous, right?
Yeah, just trying to balance what's good for the user and what's profitable for the creator.
Right.
That's a fine line to cross sometimes.
So, we'll get to that in a moment. I want to ask you you were talking about some of the stats on ads being delivered and things like that. We'll get to some of this in a moment, but I want to pick your brain on what content creators can do to make things better. But first, I want to see, did you have any haters? Did you have any what's the feel been like? It's a lot of pressure, I would imagine, for someone, an individual trying to balance all this. What's that been like?
Yeah, originally I had, I don't know, maybe a lot of downloads. For example, I put my app for free for 12 hours just to get the initial word out, just to email out to my mailing list. And it had over 100,000 downloads within 12 hours, and there were free downloads on the App Store. So I got off to a good start. And out of all them users, I had maybe 3 or 4 not nasty emails, just emails saying, "Do you know that you're ruining the free web?" And they're quite constructive in what they were saying. I've had no nasty hit and runs. But since then, I've announced a new update. A new feature coming in a new update where there's an option to enable acceptable ads, and this is based on AdBlock Plus. They're a big blocker on the desktop. They run this scheme where if your website conforms to these 5 rules to display adverts, and they're quite strict rules, they add you to a whitelist. So I'm adding that as an option, so just mainly to encourage the use of responsible advertising on the web.
I saw your
and
blog.
I've had a lot of hate about that.
You got a lot of hate about that.
Yeah, a lot. Basically, I think the Wall Street Journal or The Verge, one of them, run a story saying that I'm taking money from advertisers to display to let their adverts get through to, the users of Crystal,
Oh,
and they run
okay.
all these
So
headlines. And basically, most people who's reached out to me and said, "Is this true?" I've showed them my blog post, said, "No, that's not true. Here's the facts," and they go, "Oh, okay, that's not as bad as what I thought."
I
It's
did.
just a lot. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. There's a little latency. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, a lot of people didn't realise that it's an option available to users. It's not going to be forced onto anyone. So a lot of people said, if this happens, I'm going to threaten legal action because you've sold me a product that's doing the opposite of what you said. It's like, no, it's just an option. You can turn it on or off. It's up to you. You don't have to use it. It's only there for people who want to.
Well, it would sound like that would be a decent thing to add because I know that Marco Arment pulled his app, and so for those who don't know, Marco had an app called Peace, which there for a while it was basically it was he and you that are him and you or you and him or whatever that it was going head to head at it and so Marco pulled his app and he actually wrote on his blog he had a whole blog post about it. And he said, peace required that all ads be treated the same, all or nothing enforcement for decisions that aren't black and white. This approach is too blunt, and Ghostery, which is the service that he was using, and I have both decided that it doesn't serve our goals or beliefs well enough. And if we're going to affect positive change overall, a more nuanced, complex approach is required than what I can bring in a simple iOS app. And he says, I still believe that ad blockers are necessary today, and I still think Ghostery is the best one, but I've learned over the last few crazy days that I don't feel good about making one and being the arbiter of what's blocked. So it seems like adding an option where someone has some level of control on their end would be a positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, the quote that stuck out to me is, if we're going to affect positive change, a more nuanced and complex approach is needed, and that's really what I'm trying to bring in. Just I run a survey with all the people who were on my download page. I said you can help me out by filling out a survey, and on that survey, more than 50% of people were happy to see ads that weren't intrusive and had a strict criteria attached to them. So that's why I decided to put this product into it, or this acceptable ads option into it, because more than 50% of my users said they don't mind seeing adverts. It's just the very obnoxious ones that ruin it for them.
Well, let's talk about reviews here. I saw you and I talked like a week ago or so, and set up this slot for the interview, and I think at the time you had maybe I was reading it wrong, but my memory says there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 460 reviews, and they were like 4.5 5-star reviews. And I checked it today just before we got on the show, and you have 2,400 plus reviews, and now it's at 3 stars. I know you haven't pushed an update to the app, so is it just this press that's kind of pushing the reviews, or what's happened there?
Mainly just all the reviews are just purely based from this Verge article, and then all the articles have linked to the Verge. Like, if the Verge or the Wall Street Journal posts something, a lot of other websites are going to pick it up and post it. So yeah, a lot of people just misunderstanding the whole situation.
Well, I think you've done really well.
As best I can.
Yeah, I think you've done really well to publish. Be kind of transparent and try to make sure that you voice the concerns and stuff like that. But when you look at what's interesting, here's the thing: is when you look at the reviews, it's not. When you look at reviews, you always look for a common thread, right? And you try to figure out what the aggregate is. When you look at your reviews, you have like 1,028. 1,128 that are 5-star reviews. Fantastic, right? And then there's 1,050 that are 1-star reviews. So I'm thinking, again, this is just a week ago, everybody was thrilled with it. But now as you've got all this press, it's all kind of pushed it down, right? So, but it's a 50-50 split. It's not like you have 500 1-star reviews. It's like a 50-50 split in the reviews. So.
Funny enough, that's what my stats told me. 50% of people are happy to see ads based on a criteria. 50% aren't. So I think it's the ones who aren't happy who think it's going to get pushed onto them because it wasn't reported in the most accurate of ways, unfortunately. the headlines were a bit, as always, the design, for maximum page views, maximum sharing, etc.